Hello and welcome to English Daily Routine. This podcast is here to help you improve your English step by step in a simple and relaxed way. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to understand everything. Just listen, relax, and repeat. Make English part of your daily routine even for a few minutes. Let's start today's episode.
We are so glad you are here with us.
We are.
Today, we're going to be tackling omission, something that is really fundamental for every single person learning English.
It really is. I mean, this feeling that we're about to talk about, it's universal. It doesn't matter if you're learning English or Spanish or any language.
You always hit this wall.
You hit this exact barrier. And our mission today is to help you get over that feeling of being, stuck.
Right.
We want to help you start building your English fluency step by step.
Mm.
And we want to do it in a way that feels calm and without a lot of pressure.
Exactly. The goal here is to remove the stress from this. Because if you're listening, you probably already have a huge amount of skill. You know a lot of English.
Oh, absolutely. You're dedicated.
But there is this one question, this one thing that just frustrates almost everyone. We hear it all the time.
We do.
Why can I understand everything, when I listen or when I read? But the moment I try to speak, I just feel completely blocked. I freeze.
And that moment, that mental block, it's not a sign that you're failing.
That's so important to hear.
It is. It is actually the most natural stage in learning a language. And by the end of this deep dive, you will understand the real reason why this happens.
And more importantly, what to do about it.
Yes. You'll have simple, real techniques you can use right away to break that freeze. We're going to build the bridge between knowing English and, speaking English.
Okay, so let's really unpack this situation because, it's where so many people are. The story is always the same.
So consistent.
Learners say, when I watch a show, I feel like I'm B2, maybe C1. I can read an article, no problem.
Right. You get the jokes, you understand the ideas.
But then the moment comes to join a conversation, and suddenly you feel like your level just drops all the way down to A2.
It's a huge disconnect, isn't it? You know the words are in there somewhere. You recognize the grammar. But when it's your turn to talk...
Nothing. Or, just a few slow, careful words.
Exactly. And that gap is what we're going to focus on.
So why does this happen? Why is there this huge difference between recognizing English and actually producing it?
Well, it all comes down to a really big idea in how we learn languages. It's the difference between passive skills and active skills.
Okay, passive and active. Let's start with passive.
Right. So let's talk about understanding, listening, and reading. These are what we call passive skills.
Passive. What does that word mean here?
It just means receiving. You are having something done to you. The information, the words, they are coming to you.
So you're not doing the hard work, really. The material is.
Precisely. When you're listening to this deep dive, for example, or reading a book, the words, the sentences, they are all given to you. Your brain is just doing a job of recognition.
Recognition. So it's like matching.
It is exactly like matching. The information comes into your brain, and your brain's job is just to find the pattern it already knows.
I like the idea of a finished jigsaw puzzle. You just look at it and say, yep, that's a cat. You don't have to build the puzzle yourself.
That's a perfect analogy. See, when you watch a movie, you hear a word. And even if you don't hear it perfectly, the context of the sentence, the story, it helps your brain fill in the blank.
So it's a one-way street. The English is coming in.
Coming in. That's the key. Let's look at the other side.
Speaking?
Speaking is the complete opposite. It is an active skill.
Active. Okay, so if passive is receiving.
Active is creating
Mm-hmm.
or generating.
And that's where all the trouble starts.
This is the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
When you speak, you're the one who has to create everything instantly. The words have to come from you.
So you're not matching a pattern anymore.
No. You are building the pattern from zero. You're producing something new. And that uses a totally different system in your brain. It demands production, not just recognition.
That is the crucial difference. Production versus recognition. The flow of information is going out, not in.
And that outward flow, takes a lot more energy, a lot more brain power. And it has to happen so much faster.
You go from being the audience in a theater to being the actor on the stage.
Yes. You have to move react, say your lines, all without a script in front of you.
So this explains why you can have this huge library of words in your head that you understand.
But getting them out feels so slow. The paths in your brain for understanding are strong.
Yeah.
You use them all the time when you listen and read.
They're like wide, smooth highways.
Exactly. But the paths for speaking, for pushing the words out, if you don't practice, they stay like small, weak country roads.
Okay, so that's the foundation. Receiving versus producing. Now let's get into the mechanics of it. What is actually happening in your brain in that moment when you try to speak and nothing comes out?
Yes, that moment, the freeze.
The freeze.
We can call it cognitive overload. Your brain is, and I mean this literally, trying to do too much too fast.
It's like trying to juggle 4 heavy boxes at the same time. You know how to hold 1 box, but 4.
You just drop everything.
Right.
So let's break down those 4 jobs, the 4 tasks your brain is trying to do all at once that causes this freeze.
Okay, let's do it.
Job number 1 is the most basic. Remembering the words. Finding the vocabulary.
And that's harder than it sounds, isn't it? It's not just a simple list of words.
Not at all. It's what we call your mental lexicon. It's a huge, complex network. Now, when you listen, you hear a word and you recognize it. Easy.
When you speak.
You have to go into that giant library in your mind and find the one exact, perfect word for your idea. And not just the word, but how it sounds, what grammar it needs.
And this is so important. The freeze isn't because you don't know the word.
No, the word is in there. The problem is the access speed. How fast can you find it?
It's like a file on a computer, right? If you use it every day, it opens instantly if you haven't used it in a year.
The computer has to search. It takes a few seconds. And in a conversation, a few seconds is an eternity.
So that's job 1, searching for the word.
And while your brain is busy doing that, it's also doing job number 2 at the same time. Remembering the grammar.
Oh, the rules.
The rules. Grammar is like a huge instruction book. When you listen, you just check that the sentence sounds about right. But when you speak,
You have to build the sentence using the instruction book.
exactly, in real time. So you have a thought about yesterday. Your brain has to think, okay, past tense. Is it a regular verb? Irregular. What's the form of go? Oh, it's went, not goed, Ed.
And all that thinking, that checking, takes time.
It creates a pause. Your internal voice is checking the grammar. And while it's doing that, the conversation has already moved on.
So you've got word search and grammar check happening at once. That's already a lot.
It is. But for most learners, there's a third job that makes everything even slower.
And what's that?
The translation step.
Ah, okay. This is a big one.
This might be the single biggest reason for freezing. Because what most people do, especially under pressure, is they think of the sentence in their first language, their L1.
And then they try to translate it word for word into English.
Yes. So the path in your brain is so long. First, you build the sentence in your own language. Then you translate each piece into English. Then you try to put the English pieces together correctly.
That's like doing the work twice.
It's a disaster for speed. And it's also a disaster for sounding natural.
Because languages don't map onto each other perfectly.
Never. A phrase that's perfect in your language might sound really strange in English. So your brain translates it, realizes it sounds weird, and then tries to fix it. And that causes
freeze.
another freeze. The goal has to be to think directly in English, to skip that translation step completely.
Okay, so we have finding words, checking grammar, and translating. What's the 4th job?
The 4th job is the physical one, the pronunciation.
How to actually make the sounds.
Speaking is a physical activity. It uses muscles in your mouth, your tongue, your lips, and you have trained those muscles for years to make the sounds of your language.
But English sounds are different.
Very different. For example, the sound in think, for many people, their mouth has never made that shape before.
So your brain is also thinking, am I saying this right? Is my tongue in the correct place?
Yes, it's a 4th check happening at the same time as the other 3. A physical check. And if your brain feels the muscles are slow or wrong, it hesitates.
And that hesitation feels like a block.
It is a block, so you put all 4 of them together.
Finding the word, checking the grammar, translating from your language, and worrying about pronunciation.
All at the same time. In a split second, the system is it's overloaded. It's not a surprise that you freeze. It is the logical result.
That makes so much sense. It's a bottleneck. It's just too many things trying to get through a very small door at the same time.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's a bottleneck.
But this is where we need to make a really important turn in the conversation. Because we know the why. We know it's an overload.
Yes. So now we have to talk about the real problem behind the overload.
And this is something we really want you to hear to absorb this.
Please listen to this part carefully. The problem is not your intelligence. And the problem is not your English level.
That's what people think, isn't it? I'm just bad at English, or I don't know enough words.
But that's almost never true. You know the words, you know the grammar, you can understand it perfectly when you hear it.
The information is there.
The information is there.
Yeah.
The real problem, the fundamental issue, is that you do not practice speaking enough.
It's not a knowledge gap.
No, it's a practice gap.
Let's look at what a typical learner does, because the imbalance is usually huge.
It is. Most learners spend a lot of time on passive activities.
Right. They listen to hours of music or deep dives like this one. They watch movies, which is great for input.
It's essential, but it only trains the passive recognition muscle.
And they read. They read books, news articles, whatever. Again, fantastic for building vocabulary that you can recognize.
And they study grammar rules from a book. They do exercises. This builds knowledge.
But it's analytical knowledge. It's not the same as using it.
Exactly. So you might spend, say, 10 hours a week doing all that passive stuff, listening, reading, studying.
But then, how much time do you spend actually speaking?
For many people, it's almost zero, or maybe 10, 15 minutes in a class once a week.
So you are training your understanding muscle 60 times more than your speaking muscle.
And then you wonder why one is strong and one is weak. The result is completely predictable.
Which brings us to the analogy that really just perfectly explains all of this.
Yes. Speaking is a muscle.
It's not just a nice idea, it's actually how the brain works.
It really is.
Yeah.
Think about it physically. When you go to the gym and lift a weight, you are making your arm muscles stronger. But what's happening in your brain?
A pathway is being built.
Yes. Every time you repeat the movement, the nerve pathway for that movement gets stronger. It gets insulated, something called myelination.
It's like putting better insulation on an electrical wire.
A perfect comparison.
Mm-hmm.
The thicker the insulation, the faster and more efficient the signal travels.
So when a native speaker says a common phrase, the signal is instant.
Lightning fast. Because that pathway has been used millions of times. It's a superhighway. But when you are trying to find a word you rarely use,
the pathway is weak and slow. The signal is weak.
So if you don't practice the physical act of speaking, the neural pathway for speaking, the active muscle, it just stays weak and underdeveloped no matter how much you know.
Okay, so this is actually really good news.
It's fantastic news.
Because we know what the problem is, and it is something we can fix. The freeze is an overload, and the overload is caused by a lack of practice for the speaking muscle.
That's it.
So now let's get into the practical side of this. What can you actually do? Let's talk about simple exercises to build that muscle.
Okay. The very first thing, the most important change you need to make is in your mind.
A mindset shift.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to lower your expectations. I want you to repeat this idea to yourself. You do not need perfect English to speak.
This is so important. That fear of making a mistake is what stops people.
It's the enemy. You wait for the day when you will speak perfectly. But that day only comes after you have spoken imperfectly thousands of times.
You have to start with the small, light weights. You can't wait until you're strong enough to lift the heavy ones.
Exactly. So the goal of these practices is not to be perfect. The goal is to be fast,
Yeah.
to be automatic. We are training your brain to find and say English words without thinking, without translating.
Okay, let's do it. Practice tip number 1.
This is something you can do right now, today. It needs no partner. It has zero pressure.
I'm listening.
It's called observation and simple statements.
Okay.
The instruction is very simple. Just be a narrator for your own life. Look around you, right where you are now, and say simple sentences about what you see.
And you want to use the simplest grammar possible?
The simplest. Subject, verb, object. I see a table. This is a cup. This reduces the grammar job number 2, to almost 0.
And because you were looking at the object, it reduces the word finding job too.
Right. You don't have to search your memory for the word window. You just look at the window and say, that is a window.
So if I'm at home, I could just say, I am at home.
Perfect.
I am sitting. I am listening to a deep dive.
Yes. You are connecting reality directly to English. You are building the pathway that goes from the object, the idea, straight to the English word. You are training yourself to skip the translation step.
What's the most important rule when doing this?
Say it out loud. Slowly. Clearly.
You have to make the sound.
You have to engage the physical muscle. Job number 4, the sound has to leave your mouth and enter your ears. That's what builds and reinforces the pathway.
And no L1, no thinking in your first language. If you see a tree, the only word in your head should be tree.
That is the training. You are actively fighting against that translation habit. And if you do this for just 5 minutes a day,
Just 5 minutes.
you are doing more to build your speaking muscle than hours of just listening.
Okay, I love that. So simple. What's practice tip number 2?
Tip 2 makes it a little more complex, but it's still just you. No pressure.
Yeah.
And it is talking to yourself about your day.
This feels strange to people at first.
It does.
Yeah.
It feels a little silly, but it is maybe the most powerful tool you have. You are your own practice partner.
And you're always available.
Always. The goal here is to tell the story of your life using simple tenses: past, present, and future.
So in the morning, I could say what I'm going to do.
Yes. Today, I will go to work. I will eat lunch at noon. I need to call my friend. You are practicing future forms.
And then at the end of the day,
This is the most powerful part. At the end of the day, you tell the story of what happened. This forces you to practice the past tense.
which is where a lot of people get stuck, those irregular verbs.
Exactly. So you say, I woke up at 7, I ate breakfast, I went to work, I saw my friend.
And what's great about this is that it's a safe place to make mistakes.
The perfect place.
Uh-huh.
There's no one to judge you. If you say, I eated a sandwich, that's okay.
Why is that okay?
Because your brain did most of the work. It knew you needed the past tense. It found the verb eat. It activated your mouth muscles. The only problem was one little piece of information. So you just correct yourself, oh, ate, and you say it again, I ate a sandwich.
You are giving yourself feedback. You're finding the slow spots in your memory and making them faster.
Every single time you force yourself to remember saw instead of seed, you are making that neural pathway stronger and faster. You are directly fixing the access speed problem.
You're making the knowledge automatic. So it moves from that part of your brain that thinks hard about rules to the part that just does things.
That is the definition of fluency, moving from conscious effort to automatic action.
This all leads to the final and maybe the most important part of this, the mindset.
Yes, because all this practice is useless if you're too afraid to start.
So we need to give you this one crucial reminder, and it's so important.
Mistakes are not a problem.
Say that again.
Mistakes are not the problem. They're a sign of progress. They are essential feedback.
The fear of mistakes is what stops almost everyone. People think a mistake means they are a bad burner.
And that is completely wrong.
So what is the real problem?
The real problem, the true enemy of fluency, is silence. If you stay silent because you are afraid of making a mistake, you guarantee that your speaking muscle will never grow. Silence is zero practice. Silence guarantees you will stay slow forever.
Think about the gym analogy again. If you try to lift a weight and your form is a little wrong,
Do you just stop going to the gym forever?
no, of course not.
The mistake is just information. It tells you, okay, I need to adjust my arm here. Your English mistakes are just information.
They are data points. A wrong verb just tells you that your brain needs a little more practice with that specific pathway.
And every sentence you try to say, even if it's wrong, is a huge success. You tried. You searched for words. You tried to use grammar. You moved your mouth. That is progress.
So you have to change the story you tell yourself.
Yes. Stop saying, I am bad at English. It is not true, and it does not help.
So what should you say instead?
You should say, I have a lot of English knowledge, and I'm now in active speaking training.
I am in training. I like that.
It reframes everything. It's not a failure. It's a process. It takes time and effort, just like building any muscle.
And it takes consistency.
Consistency over complexity. We are not asking you to give a speech about philosophy.
Just to say, I see a blue car.
Exactly. 5 minutes of saying simple things every day is 1,000,000 times better for your speaking than 3 hours of watching movies.
And when you do this, when you are consistent, something amazing happens.
Yes. The reward.
You start to build confidence.
As you practice these simple sentences day after day, 2 things happen. First, your brain physically gets faster. The pathways get stronger. The overload goes down.
And second,
You prove to yourself that you can speak English. Every small sentence you say is proof. I did it. And this proof builds real, powerful confidence inside you.
and confidence is the key.
Confidence is the key that unlocks everything. When you're confident, you don't hesitate as much. When you don't hesitate, you don't feel the pressure. And when the pressure is gone,
The freeze just melts away.
it just disappears. You replace that slow, painful process of building a sentence with a fast, automatic process of just speaking.
This really clarifies it for me. The freeze is a technical problem, a bottleneck in the brain. It is not a personal failure.
Exactly. You already have the knowledge. You just need to practice accessing it quickly.
We really want to thank you for spending this time with us, for letting us unpack this really important part of your journey.
We do. And if any of these ideas were helpful, the passive versus active skills, the 4 jobs, maybe listen again. Repetition is how we learn. It will help the ideas stick.
And as we get ready to close, we want to leave you with one simple message, a thought to keep with you for your daily motivation.
This is how you beat the freeze. This is how you build your speaking muscle.
Don't think about perfection. Don't think about long, complex sentences.
Just focus on what you can do today,
small English.
every day.
If you can commit to that, to speaking simple, small English every single day, you will turn all that understanding you have into powerful, confident speaking.
Keep practicing.
And we will see you next time.
Thank you for listening to English Daily Routine. Remember, you don't need to study for hours. A little English every day is enough. Listen again if you can. Repetition helps your brain feel comfortable with English. Keep practicing. Keep listening. See you in the next episode. Small English. Every day.